Good afternoon. Thanks for coming in today, Miss Everhart. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. So did you go over the consent form and sign it and everything for today's session?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So before we begin, I just want to let you know that everything here is confidential. However, I will be video recording, so I may have to show my site supervisor and some of my classmates, what we discussed today. But at any point in the session today, just let me know if you feel uncomfortable about things that we're discussing. So what brought you in today?
Well, I'm coming today because I'm really having some challenges on my job. I'm really kind of worried about my job security. There's some changes that are going on with our management, and I'm just really concerned that I might be being downsized, or maybe there's some. Actually, I feel like maybe there's some issues that are kind of going on that are sort of pushing me out, and so
Okay.
I'm really worried about that.
Okay, so did you want to go into detail about some of the changes that were made, or how long you've been on the job, or what exactly are you doing now currently at the job, and what is different now from the changes now that's happened from before?
Yeah, actually, I've been in my job about 10 years now,
Okay.
and I'm one of the department managers. There's 12 department managers. It's a retail store, so
Okay.
I'm one of the 12 department managers, and
Mhm.
we have in the last like 2 or 3 months had some second level management. So there's managers above the department managers that have just come on. So we've got three new ones.
Okay.
And there I realized that they're just kind of trying to, get a feel for everything that's going on in the
Mhm.
store and changes
Mhm.
and things like that. But in my situation with my department overhead, the guy who oversees my department, I feel like he's kind of nitpicking a little bit, and
Okay.
he never gives me any positive feedback on
Okay.
any of the work that I'm doing. He
Mhm.
just only talks about things in a negative way.
Mhm.
And the biggest concern is, he's starting to really kind of focus on this issue that's been a problem for all of the departments for the entire time that I've been there. It's
Okay.
really a processing
Mhm.
issue that the other department managers, we've all talked about this before with the store manager and how
Okay.
we could try and change the process so it
Right.
doesn't impact everyone so negatively.
Mhm.
But in my special situation, I am the department manager of one of the busiest departments in the
Okay.
store.
Okay.
And what the issue is we have this report we have to do on a daily basis. It's a daily report.
Mhm.
And none of the departments are always able to get that report done every day
Mhm.
at the proposed time. But my department is a lot more challenged in doing that because we're busiest. We're
Busy.
the busiest department in the store.
Okay.
So I'm getting a lot of negative feedback about not getting those reports done on a daily
Okay.
basis.
So, what are some of the negative feedbacks that you're getting, and how have you addressed it, or is it something you just deal with, and it's just been building up lately, or explain a little bit
Yeah,
about that?
well, it's kind of been building up, and I kind
Mhm.
of think it's based on. I feel like the department manager is sort of retaliating against me in the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
There was a situation that occurred, and I was asked to provide some information or intervene with some different associates in the store who are not
Mhm.
part of my department,
Mhm.
and I didn't feel comfortable doing that,
Yeah.
so I sort of tried to have those associates department managers handle the situation, but
Mhm.
he really wanted to pull me into it, and I just didn't
Didn't
feel
want to be
comfortable
involved.
with
Okay.
it, right? And
Mhm.
having to write out a document, and have to have things placed in a file. So
Mhm.
I really tried to be really upfront with him about my reasons why I didn't want to be involved because they weren't my associates
Mhm.
to manage, and that their managers, department managers, would probably be the best people or persons to do that.
Mhm.
and he wasn't, I don't think he was comfortable with me
Supportive.
doing that. So since that time, I've been getting emails from him
Okay.
saying like, oh, this is a final notice, you aren't getting the report done,
Okay.
or the report wasn't done on this day and that day. And so I think it feels like it's just kind of building up to be like a negative thing for me.
So have you talked to anyone above him about the situation, or have you confronted him about the situation, or is it something that you've just been letting go on and, kind of just
I
over it at this point, or?
kind of. I'm feeling almost like it's a no-win situation for
Really?
me. I have tried to talk to him about it, and he just sort of blows it off. And I have gone to the store manager, who's above all of us, the
Mhm.
top of the management chain, and he sort of says, "Oh yeah, well I'll talk to him," and but I don't feel like he's really
Okay.
doing anything. He's sort of letting the
Mhm.
person, kind of feel their
Run
way
over.
through it and run, yeah, and do
Okay.
it their way. So I'm really feeling like I don't have a win in this situation. And
So is it like another department you can go to, maybe, to kind of take some of the stress off getting these reports done every day, because your store is so busy? Is it
hmm
somewhere else you can be placed for placement, or?
well, that is something we have tried to, because the other department managers, we try and help each other,
Yeah,
with that,
as you should.
right, with that kind of report, and just to be, team players with one another. And for most part, we are able to work together and get it done. But there's just some days it's just not possible for my department to be successful in getting it done.
Okay.
So
So, what do you feel like you should do from here? Have you thought about applying to another job, or is it something that you just love to do? What are your thoughts on applying to another position or another job?
I have thought about that. I feel like that's like a last resort. I really like what I do. I like where I'm working. I mean, it's great benefits, and as I mentioned, I've been there 10 years, so I didn't really want to move to another company. I really want to stay with the company,
Okay.
but I'm kind of starting to feel like my work isn't being appreciated, and so I just don't know what I want to do. I mean, I don't want to leave, but I feel like I'm being forced to.
Um, yeah, so you mentioned something about you not feeling appreciated.
hmm
So is that just coming from the negative feedback you've been getting, or recently, or from the 10 years that you've been there? Have it always been like that, or just the changes is making you feel like your work is not appreciated?
I think it's just with this department manager, because he
Okay,
never
yeah,
says anything about the
positive.
positive things that we
Mhm.
do, and the accomplishments that we do make. And again, my department is the busiest department in the store, so our sales are really, high. We usually have the highest sales record on a daily basis in the store, and that's just not even acknowledged. And
Mhm.
and another thing, I think he wants me to be a little bit more, I don't know, try to push my associates a little bit more, but I know that they can't get it done because
Right.
they're helping customers. I
Right.
look at their sales records, and I can see that they're making a lot of sales. So that means they're busy. It's not
Right.
that they're not doing anything,
Mhm.
but I just don't know how to get through to that manager that we're doing
The
all
best
that
we
we can
can.
do. hmm
So is there like an honor code associated with the job? Because I know a lot of jobs, they do have like an honor code where you can call in, if you're feeling like you're not being appreciated, or you're
hmm
getting all this negative feedback from him. Is it something that you can call to kind of get it out there? So, I mean, you said you went to the store manager, and they're
hmm
saying they're going to talk to him, but I think it should be something where you can call to kind of get it approached so it
Right.
can be talked about,
Yeah. Yeah.
have you looked into that, or?
We do have another avenue that I can take, but I know once I start
It's
that
gonna be,
road, it's
yeah.
gonna, really almost be like me going out of the door. I mean,
Mhm.
there's an open door policy with our HR regional team, so I
Mhm.
could reach out to that, but
Yeah.
that's almost like
Okay.
this is the end if I, do that. So,
Well, I hear, what you're saying, and it seems like you're kind of not really happy with the changes, and I know because the economy and things are not really good how they used to be. So I know job security is very important to everyone. I think that you should feel appreciated. You've been there 10 years, and you say that you've been trying hard to get all your reports done at the end of the day. Maybe you should talk about trying to do the best that you can. And if they're not completed at the end of the day, maybe start them early the next morning when you come in, or anything that will probably take the stress away from you and your other employees that's trying to get it done too. Have you thought about that, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of works. The way the reports work is they're generated around 6 a.m. every morning because
Okay,
there's
6
other
a.m.
people who are also involved with me having all of the information I need in order to complete the report. So they're generated around 6 a.m.
Okay.
and they typically are supposed to be turned in by 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Well, most of my associates, and that's another issue that other department managers have faced, is that sometimes you only have one person coming in at 6
Okay.
when the reports are generated, and you don't have another person come in until like 10 o'clock.
10, okay.
So you're all alone in your department working. So if you get busy with customers coming in for that whole time, you really can't get to it by that time. So.
Okay.
And they're generated every day. So at the end at 10 o'clock, that's the end of that report. It's either done or not done. And then you just start all over again the next day.
Okay. So with the reports, is it like a lot of information that needs to go into them? Have you ever thought about listening the information that needs to go into the report, kind of like short answer, kind of, or is it something that has to be very detailed, straight to the point of what happened throughout the day?
Well, actually, what the report does is it tells us what needs to be stocked on the shelves.
Okay.
So it's really a physical thing. It's a report of items that you have to complete and make sure they're in the place that they need to be in. And one of the things that we do is that our closers at night, they try to anticipate and see what those empty spots are and get them filled at night. But again, if they're really busy with customers, they can't get to it. Yeah. And that's been it's been this way ever since I've been there. I mean, this has been the way it's been the whole time. There's usually not a big issue about it because everybody understands that, you can only do them when you have time and you're not working with customers because customers come first.
Okay.
So it's just that now that this new manager is there, he really wants to say, oh, it's got to be done, it's got to be done, it's got to be done, and not really considering all the other factors that go into it.
So do you all have like store meetings? Like I know some jobs have like branch meetings after work or after hours. Is that something that you all do to where some of these issues can be addressed in front of everyone, or?
Yeah, we do. We have department managers meeting twice a month.
Okay.
And I guess as I mentioned, kind of said that all of the department managers have talked about this same challenge that we all go through with getting the report done. So we talk about it in our department managers meetings, and the store manager is there, and the other, second level managers are there too. So they hear us all talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult situation, and as your counselor, I can't really help you with the situation, but I can kind of advise you on what to do. And I do think that it should be addressed again. Maybe sit down with the store manager, your store manager, and maybe like a corporate officer or someone who can really get down to the bottom of the issue, because I feel like no one should feel unappreciated, especially being there 10 years. So I can only imagine how, things are changing, and now you're feeling like, oh my God, am I going to be here in the next month, or I'm not going to have a job. And I do think that you should maybe look into anything that kind of gives people that been there a couple of years the upper hand, like, you've been here 10 years, so your job is secure, before, getting laid off, because I know normally they typically, lay off people that's new, but it just all depends. But I do think that you should maybe, schedule an appointment to see him and maybe your department manager that's over you, as well as a corporate manager. That way, something needs to happen. Like it needs
Yeah.
to be talked about. You need to explain how you feel
Mhm.
with you being there 10 years. So I think that's some homework you should take home. And then maybe come back and let me know how it went. And then, we can probably talk about how you feel since this meeting when you come back in or.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that, definitely. I'll try to take those steps and see if that will help the situation.
Okay, well, it was nice for
Okay.
you coming in, and I feel sorry that you feel unappreciated, but you trust me. I'm pretty sure you're a hard worker. You've been there 10 years, so don't let negative, feedback ruin your day. Still continue to do what you do. Try to get the reports in, but I do want you to take my advice as far as your homework
Yeah.
and see if you can schedule an appointment to speak with them.
Okay.
All
All
right,
right.
nice meeting you. You
You
have a great
too.